Hey, what's up, you all? This is The Conversation with Andy Spring. He is an actor. He's a writer. He's a poet. He's an all-around artist. Welcome to the show, Andy. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me, Dimitri. Thank you, truly.
No problem. Thank you for even coming. Thank you for being here in human format. So thank you. I appreciate you coming and literally being here in human format. Anyways, let me get back on topic. You said you were doing well, right?
Yes.
What do you mean by that?
I'm getting through it. Life is a complicated thing sometimes. It moves in circuitous route. And like I was just talking to you before, the heat wave, we've been dealing with this heat. I just had my birthday a little bit ago.
Oh, wow.
August
Happy birthday.
31st.
Hey,
Thank you.
Shout out to the birthday.
Thank you.
Okay. How was that birthday?
It was good. It was fun. I spent the time with family and they came down and visited. And, I feel like every time you have a birthday, it kind of, in a way, it makes you evaluate life.
Okay.
And you see where things are going and what routes still you have left to take in life. And, it's not a good thing or a bad thing, but it's just the way life moves. It moves in all sorts of different directions. And sometimes when you have your birthday, it allows you to focus on where you're at in life and see where things are going next, I suppose.
So you basically are reflecting on your life when you have your birthday every year. You just do a reflection on your life, correct?
Yeah, I would say sometimes, yeah.
Less so than sometimes.
What
do you mean sometimes?
Less so.
Every year I reflect on my life because I'm getting a year older. I'm already in my 30s, and I'm like, God, how much older am I going to get? So I'm reflecting on my life, what I did back when I was a year younger versus what I'm going to do in the future. So
instead of having New Year's resolutions, I find myself having birthday reflections.
I like that. I like that.
Maybe.
Who does New Year's resolutions?
I don't know. I can't follow through on those things, right?
Who does? I don't think anybody does, which is okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
Let's get to it. Let's talk about you being an artist, and let's talk about you being a writer and how you have lived your life as an all-around artist and trying to navigate and maneuver in this industry that we live in. Because I know it's competitive, and I know integrity is a issue in a way. How do you balance your life as an artist and as a writer, as a poet, and also as a trained professional? How do you balance your life?
Well, it's not easy. It's challenging. I think especially as a writer, oftentimes in life, you're racked with moments of doubt, self-doubt. And I think a lot of artists have that, Oftentimes in life, we feel that imposter syndrome, right? Am I good enough? Am I worthy enough? Is this me? Right? I think everyone kind of deals with those things at some point in life. But I would say I tend to, I just take it one day at a time, one step at a time. And, everything in life, whether it's a poem or whether it's, say, a screenplay or a story idea, it starts with the germ of an idea that then grows and evolves and changes, and it takes on a life of itself, kind of both from you but separate from you. And I think that's what's so interesting about being a creative person and feeling creative. And my grandmother, I should say, she was on my mom's side. She was an artist. She was a watercolor.
She was
painter.
An artist. What? Okay.
And she had this
a watercolor painter.
She did. She was a watercolor painter, and she had a really great saying where she said, I'm kind of paraphrasing here a little bit, but she said, "Creativity is as important to me as the air that I breathe." And I think that's
is that published in a book at all? Because that needs to be published.
I don't think so. But I think that the sentiment rings true, The fact that a material thing, like oxygen, like water, like physical exercise, the creativity that you give yourself and that you give to others is invaluable. And I think that it's really important as an artist to find your own inner integrity, to follow your vision sometimes, whatever route that may take. And we were talking a little bit about this, in integrity, right? What does that mean? That word, it's a powerful word.
Yes.
It's not always something you can just measure with a ruler. Integrity is something that you feel inside you when you're doing something and you feel motivated and you feel that your soul is speaking through something. And I think that's a very powerful thing. And, there's so many people nowadays. And I think, in some ways this is kind of endemic to L.A. and the L.A. experience. I studied screenwriting and acting at the Los Angeles Performing Arts Conservatory. So that was a great outlet for me in order to explore my creativity. I did my undergrad in literature, creative writing, poetry at UC Santa Cruz.
Hey, Santa Cruz.
There comes
Shout
the poetry.
Out to Santa Cruz.
Love Santa
Shout
Cruz.
out to
In the woods.
Poetry.
Yeah.
So do you create poetry?
I do, actually. I've been working on writing a book, actually, of poems, which I'm really excited about. It's sort of an ongoing process.
Okay.
But, initially I thought the scope of the book was going to be smaller, but I feel like now it's like that sometimes, when you start something, it begins to snowball and it takes on a larger life apart from you. And so I feel like the scope, size, and scale of the book has expanded what I had initially, the initial vision, where now I feel like I need more time to work on it because it's turning into a larger entity apart from myself. And it needs more time for gestation.
Yes.
And I think that's the thing too also sometimes in life. We're so driven by immediate gratification in life. You create something and immediately you want something to then follow that.
To
so
happen
on and so forth.
to just be there right in front of your face
and
without thinking, it's going to take time. You want it to be there instantly, like you mentioned, instant gratification.
Instant gratification. I think the thing that I've come to realize as I get older as an artist is the fact that you got to give yourself time and room to fail and to struggle and to grow and evolve and change, and that you grow with your art.
Yes. And not to cut you off, but I feel like that's a learning experience. It's part of being human when you give yourself time to grow and do things and learn things from mistakes or whatnot. It's just part of a learning experience. And I feel like people should give themselves those opportunities to learn and to dive deep into their personal self by making mistakes or whatever the case may be, and learn from those mistakes or learn from whatever flaws they have. So I like how you mentioned that.
Yeah. So. And so many people, they spend so much time on following the latest trends and what's popular and what is, what they think should be in the zeitgeist, right? But really, at the end of the day, I think it's
basically commercialism.
Yes, commercialism, the profitability of your art, whether or not, if you're going to create something, someone at the end of the day, whether it's you or someone else, is going to want to be able to make money off that. And that's, for better or worse, right? It's just the reality of capitalism. The world we live in, right?
And competition, marketing.
And competition.
It's all of it.
And it's a cutthroat. It's a cutthroat world, and
it is.
It's real challenging. I'm not going to sugarcoat it and say that it's very easy, because it's not. It's really complicated. It's really difficult, and and sometimes very confusing too.
Yes, especially when you're in a market that consists of so much. Yeah. And you're not aware of it at first until you get into it. Then you're like, oh, this had more than what I ever envisioned it to have. And here you are, you're in the mix of confusion, perplexion, I guess.
Nonstop.
Perplexed. And I'm like, what can I, as an artist, I'm over there always thinking, what can I do to still be an artist or be a writer or create music, whatever the case it is that I want to do to keep my integrity. And sometimes I'd be having some confliction.
Yes.
It's really, really hard to create and keep that integrity going. Yeah. Keep that balance in life and everything. It's just really, really hard just because of, like you mentioned, the commercialism.
Yes.
And then you have mentioned something else, if you could remind me. I know the profitability
of your
one's art.
Yeah.
And I feel like some people will go to the extent, sorry about that, you all, Sorry about that, you all. Will go to the extent of bending their integrity just to and get that instant gratification.
Yeah.
And also to get that, I guess, that money going, which is the profit that they would in turn make from the product that they have. Hopefully that's making sense to you.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that's the thing, you know, especially given the fact that, you know, we live in a world in which major studios are looking to profit off something, anything, right, in order to turn a quick dollar, right, you know, keep the gravy train a-flowing, right? That's always
gravy train.
The gravy train.
Like that terminology. The gravy train. They just milk it, don't they?
They milk
Sorry.
it. No,
Go
they
ahead.
have to. And that's the thing, though. At the end of the day, someone has to make money off of something else. And that's just the way it works, I suppose. You know, obviously, you know, some days I don't wish it were quite as much like that.
Because it can be very challenging
it can be
for
daunting.
you.
It can put a lot of
for
pressure
the artist.
on the artist to because there's always a consideration, okay, how much do I compromise my initial vision, my integrity of the unique initial vision to, say, adapt the product to, say, like maybe you're trying to adapt it to a certain audience or to a certain genre or to a certain style. You know, there's always that consideration in the back of your mind. Who is this
market,
for?
Yeah.
Who am I creating this
target
for?
audience.
Obviously, it'd be great if I could just make it for me, but that would be too limited in scope. You know, not everyone's going to like what I like.
Yeah.
Not everyone's going to like what you like, so on and so forth, et cetera, et cetera. So we have to think, and that's the thing too. You know, we're always constantly in a state in this line of work, in this industry. Like I said, you're racked with self-doubt. It's almost like a religious experience, right? You have this crisis of faith, right? You're screaming at the heavens, and you're wondering,
come to Jesus moment, like what's going on?
And we're having that moment every day, every moment, and we're always thinking, okay, you know, where is it going next? And I think that ultimately, especially when we throw in things like AI into the mix, that is totally is totally doing away with certain aspects of ownership.
AI is the demise of like a lot of originality, if that makes any sense. Because people are using it in writing, people are using it in music, and I feel like where is the creativity in that when you go from being like original to adding something with it that might not be as original as you would make it if you were the artist itself just making that product.
Yeah, and
if that makes sense.
And more broadly, just technology in general has changed so much, even within the last 20 years. You know, you used to have, say, like within the industry, like a job that would have taken a dozen people to do, and now it can be done on one or two people on a computer. Now you got 9 or 10 people that are out of a job in some level, and I think that it's just the rapid change of technology. And, you know, we are having to adapt to this changing industry now. And I think what's so interesting is the fact
as an artist, right?
As an artist, yeah. And I talked to my sister about it. You know, she's an actor. We had this great conversation about the rise of verticals and vertical content.
I've heard of verticals. Can you educate me on that?
Yeah. So the idea being that vertical content would be short form and medium form content that's essentially made for the phone.
Okay.
Right? It's almost like a movie on the phone.
Okay, like reels and whatnot.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that...
If I'm...
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you're pretty much on the right track.
Okay.
Yeah, more or less. And basically, we had this conversation about how the entertainment industry is changing so rapidly and so quickly. I mean, even just look at, you know, say like big budget movies, right?
Yes.
They're done on a huge budget, huge premium. And like, let's say you allocate $100 million for marketing on that project, you know, to market the project.
That's a lot of money.
And that, and then
show me the money.
Show me the money. Show me the money.
Ahead. Sorry,
Jerry Maguire had it right.
Show me the
money. But basically, the idea being that like I think that it's becoming harder and harder for these big budget projects to now definitively turn a profit.
Yes.
And I think that
I feel like there's just so many projects out there too, and there's just a variety now. Like, and there's so many streaming services, which kind of adds to
and
that whole
people are kind of
drama.
going to the movie theaters and things like that. And now I was talking with my sister when we were talking.
Who goes to the movie theaters nowadays?
Look,
I feel like not. Oh, do you?
I
do too, because I have.
What's a different movie going experience?
Yes,
like if I'm gonna go see a movie, I'll go to the Chinese Grauman's theater and I'll see it on the IMAX.
Who does that? I go to AMC. I got the Stubbs.
Oh, he's got the Stubbs. You're a Stubbs guy.
$25. Well, it's $27 now a month. You get to watch
Stubbs
4 movies a week now. You get to reserve that. You get a large popcorn upgrade. Sometimes, if you are an investor of AMC, you get an. What I mean by that, you could just invest $1 or so and say you are an investor. Hello.
Yeah.
And you get like free prize, not free prizes, but free rewards from them to just eat while you're at the movie theater, like popcorn.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. So
that's
why I'm AMC Stubs list.
There you go.
Lister or whatever you want to call it. But anyways, back to the movie conversation.
Yes.
Sorry.
So
back on topic.
Yes, back on topic. We're reversing here. But the idea being that short form and medium form content is getting to a point where it's. I don't know if it's ever going to eclipse like big budget projects.
Okay.
Like I don't know if we're ever going to come to a point where like I was talking to my sister like. I don't know if we'll ever come to a point where a TikTok is going to win an Oscar, but that doesn't mean.
Hold up, it could
Maybe.
Because Snapchat was very close with some of the cool, with some of the cool like
No
videos,
kidding. Okay.
the verticals, I guess you would call it.
Yeah, sure.
That are posted on those stories, and I don't know what the algorithm is, but they just show up, and it's like some content creators tell a story from one story to another story, and you just click on through social engineering just to hear more. And like I feel like that's a movie that could possibly get to like Oscar buzz. I don't know.
Yeah. And she did a thing for
I think you said Oscar buzz, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the interesting thing is though she did one of these projects that was a vertical.
Okay.
But it didn't trend very well in the algorithm. And part of the problem behind that was the fact that it was a more serious dramatic project with kind of romance elements, but it wasn't your typical, eye-grabbing kind of project, like a revenge fantasy or another really common trope with some of the Chinese media production verticals in China is the billionaire with The Secret.
So your sister created a vertical
girl,
and like it just didn't.
It didn't take off because for whatever reason it just like it wasn't. There wasn't quite as much of a market for that particular project.
I see.
And it wasn't like
she had a budget and everything.
Yeah,
and she did marketing for that.
The other people did. But she was part of it, and so they went ahead and did that whole thing, but it didn't kind of generate as much buzz in that particular project because there just wasn't as much of a market for it, and it for whatever reason, that particular project. Yeah.
Have you gotten to talk to your sister about how that made her feel like as an artist and a project not really going and making it?
Well, I think it's
a reason why I ask you that. It's because some artists, they feel like when their project doesn't make it, they might. We're gonna rewind a little, go back to integrity. They might change something about them in order to make it out in this world. I don't want to get personal, but my point is just artists do bend a little of their integrity just to market their stuff.
You have to at some level,
It's sad
because you're not making it for you. At the end of the day, as much as you'd like to, you're dependent
unless
on
it's
other
your own
people.
Content.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Unless it's just specifically your own content,
Your own
and
content.
you don't care about what anyone else,
The buzz.
watching it,
You don't care if,
you
mentioned earlier, you would make content for yourself, but like, where's the market in that?
Exactly.
Where's the targeted audience?
Exactly.
But, go
At
ahead.
the end of the day, you're going to want, ostensibly, someone's going to want to watch this for whatever reason, right? And it's not an exact science, figuring these things out. What do people want? What do people need? What do people desire in life? That's sort of like these deeper kind of philosophical considerations. But I mean, I think at some level, you have to be mindful of what people want and what people need, because if it can affect them on an emotional level,
where the market is
going. And that's I don't think anyone can really ever predict that. I don't think anyone has a crystal ball that can say that tomorrow such and such a thing is going to be popular, is going to be the next big thing and take off.
I agree with that to an extent.
I don't know.
I just feel like there are trends that people follow to try to market their product.
Yeah.
But like you mentioned, no one can predict because there are so many videos that go viral, and like you just can't predict that. That's the algorithm doing this work. Unless somebody figured out the algorithm. The damn algorithm. If you figured out the algorithm, just call me because I need to know what the trick is.
The dread of the algorithm. Who's in control of this It's such a nebulous thing, the algorithm. I don't
Tell
know.
me about it.
I don't know who's
The
in charge of the
algorithm. It's
Mark Zuckerberg.
arbitrary too. I feel like it's like something unheard of to an extent. Something made up. Like when we use the word the algorithm, you think there's something about the word, but it's really not that much. It's just a step-by-step process programmed by a programmer.
They're just gonna upload our consciousness to the cloud, and we'll all
that's already been
living
created
in the
for us.
psychosphere.
That's already been created for us. Facebook.
Yeah, no
Facebook.
kidding. Anyway.
Well, let's see. We talked about artistic integrity. We talked about what you do as an artist, specifically acting.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if we touched on, let's see, poetry. Did we touch on that?
Very briefly.
Very briefly.
Very
okay,
briefly, yeah.
and writing.
Yeah.
Did we? Okay, we covered that.
A little bit.
Where do you see yourself in the next few years, knowing that there is a market that is always changing? And it's changing at a faster rate than it was back then because of the trends and I think I said that right. And also social media. Where do you see yourself? Like, I know you're working on poetry, but there's so much you have to do in order to market yourself and push yourself.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you are prepared for it? Do you have any worries or do you have any concerns? Because as an artist, I always have those concerns, especially with my perfection and how I see things.
Yeah.
I'm way different from a lot of people. We all are unique, but me, I'm very different and unique. And my thing is like I worry about, okay, not if my stuff is going to do well, but will I ever be discouraged just because I might not be the same way as every other artist and be specifically appealing to a lot of people just because of who I am, the way I speak, maybe the way I talk, maybe it could be just the conversation itself, topic of conversation, or I don't know. I'm just different. And my thing is, I have those worries and concerns as an artist. Do you feel like you have those worries as an artist at all?
You know, I think at some level we all think about these things, right? We think about, it's hard for me to think about where I'll be in 5 years, just as long as it's, just as hard as it is to think about where I'll be in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's
because anything can happen.
Anything could happen.
Unpredictable.
It is really unpredictable in this
unless
world.
You stay in your house. Well, no, that's
unless you
even unpredictable because anything could happen while you're at home.
Even still, you're gonna have to at some point. You got to take care of watering the plants. You gotta vacuum. You gotta clean the bathroom. You gotta wash the dishes.
Yeah.
You gotta clean your sheets. Either way, it's like every day, moment to moment. Whether or not you're writing or creating or doing anything that you think is part of the creative process, you're still creating, and I always try to tell myself that too. Sometimes some of the best writing comes out of thinking. Some of the best writing comes out of dreaming. I've had incredible dreams that have worked their way into my writing where, and it's like I feel like sometimes there are things coming outside you to you.
Yes.
Messages that you're receiving, ideas that you're plucking out of the ether,
and content that you can use to drive your creativity. I feel like there's always something out there, especially dreams and nightmares that can come to you as a message to add to your writing. Anyways, go ahead.
I think I think your dreams are a powerful arbiter of truth. I suppose, if that makes sense. Your dreams can take you places. Your dreams can reveal things to you. Your dreams, and if you allow them to, you can channel them into your art into really profound and unique ways, I think, sometimes. And I think
that is powerful because I do feel like some of my dreams drive me to do some of the things I do. Sometimes those can be signs or responses to certain things that I've experienced in life. So thank you for that. Thank you.
Yeah, and I think it's we spend so much time in this day and age focused on just material success, and I think sometimes to the detriment of things. So I think that, you know, it's important in life to take a step back, sometimes realize that, you know, you are profound creative, you have a unique vision, and wherever one is at in their life, whether that's at the top of the mountain or trudging up the mountain, and you're dealing with all these adverse weather conditions, you know, to create some kind of metaphor.
Not fun at all,
But
by the way.
in any case, we are always going to end up where we need to be when we get there. And we're working our way up that mountain, brother.
We definitely are. And, well, I think you are. I'm still trying to climb.
We're all
falling
climbing.
down a little.
We're all.
I'm trying to get back up
sometimes
there.
in life, it's 2 steps back and 1 step forward. But as long as you keep on keeping on, you never know where things are going to go, I suppose. So I think that's the grand message of it all.
I like that. I
That
was
is my
just about to
2
segue
cents.
in that. I was about to segue in that. I was about to ask you, is there anything you would like to leave for your audience, like as far as a message to encourage them? Because I know this life is not easy as an artist, as a writer. We didn't even get to talk about how you are an educator.
Yes.
But it's like, how do you keep yourself going each and every day? How do you motivate yourself? What is your mantra? What is your daily routine of encouragement?
You know,
I know that was a
I love it.
question,
I
but
love
go
it.
ahead.
I love it. You know,
So.
sometimes you just gotta look in the mirror, and you gotta tell yourself, I have something, and I'm not giving up. And you know, things sometimes change, priorities evolve, people change and evolve. But at the end of the day, if you have something inside you, and you have something that you feel is worth showing to the world, I think that no matter whatever that is, whatever kind of artistic practice that you find yourself drawn to, only you can do it in the way that you can do it. And I think that every artist, just like every student that I've worked with in life, is a unique individual. And we color our lives over with our perception. And I think finding that spiritual core of what makes you happy and what drives you and what propels you forward is the one thing that is constant, even in a changing world.
That was a lot of words.
I know.
But I loved it. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
For coming to the show. Thank you for gracing us with your presence, your wonderful ability to speak, by the way. I know you're a trained professional.
You're too kind.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
I wish you well. And I'm definitely going to support you and continue supporting you. Thank you again. You have a wonderful time. Andy Spring.
Thank you so much for having me. I so appreciate it. This was amazing.
It is. It was. And it will be in the future. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.